just waiting for, okay, there we go. So now the recording has started. So just to repeat in case you missed it, there's a recording feature if you need interpretation. Interpretation, there's a globe at the bottom. If you click there, it will ask you what language you want. If you want to switch your French speaking, the icon is there, you just select. And in terms of the flow of the webinar, I'll first start with land acknowledgement, and then introduce the panelists and go into details about the grant program. And also with me, I have folks from BCFC who speak more about the capacity building program towards the end. And if you have any questions, I ask that you please be patient. There'll be time at the end for Q&A. I would like to start by honoring the land that we are on, which has been the site of human activities since time immemorial. I join you today from the town of Oakville, as we know it today, where 204 years ago, in February 1820, Treaties 22 and 23, referred to as the credit treaties, were signed. These treaties and other agreements are agreements to peacefully share and care for the land and its resources. I acknowledge the breach of trust rooted in the acquisition of land noted within the credit treaties, which resulted in the ongoing systematic injustices that impact the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nations today, until today. As more bodies are recovered at residential schools across Canada, I invite you to join with us in standing in solidarity with all Indigenous communities and to remain individually and collectively committed to the truth and reconciliation work that needs to be continued, including the specific calls to action. Honoring and respecting all the generations of people who have been stewards of this land for thousands of years, and to listening to the experiences and amplifying the voices of Indigenous peoples. We are all treaty people. Many of us have come here as settlers, immigrants in this generation or generations past. I would like to also acknowledge those of us who came here forcibly, particularly as a result of a transatlantic slave trade. Therefore, I honor and pay tribute to the ancestors of African origin and descent. A quick view of the agenda. So I'll do the welcome and intros and talk about the Black Opportunity Fund background, and then dive into the BOF and BCFC grant and capacity building program. And then I'll also have an opportunity to walk through the application process. As well, we'll have folks from BCFC speak more about the pilot program. And then at the end, we'll have a Q&A. With me, I have Craig Wellington, Chief Executive Officer of the Black Opportunity Fund. With me, I have Donna Walwyn, Chair of the Grants Committee, and she's also Vice Chair of the Board of the Black Opportunity Fund. And myself, Muzunza Musumbulwa, I'm the Program Manager at the Black Opportunity Fund. With me, I have Anika Allen, Founder, Black Canadian Fundraisers Collective. With me, I have Nicole Salmon, Founding Member, Black Canadian Fundraisers Collective, also known as BCFC. An overview of the Black Opportunity Fund. Black Opportunity Fund is a community registered charitable organization whose mandate is to dismantle anti-Black racism by establishing a sustainable pool of capital to fund Black-led businesses and Black-led not-for-profits and charities to improve the economic well-being of Canadian Black communities. BOF provides support via access of capital with the goal of improving socioeconomic well-beings, and we have two pillars. At the moment, we provide grants to B3s, Black-led, Black-focused, Black-saving not-for-profits and charities who are leading initiatives across Canada, focusing on improving the economic welfare and well-being of Canadians. Two, we facilitate access to capital for Black-led businesses, entrepreneurs to drive economic empowerment. This is done through loans. We have currently microloans from 10,000 to 50,000 and soon to be expanding nationally. And we're also launching an equity investment towards Q3 by the end of June. As well, we also have funding supports through non-repayable funding for people who are attending our capacity building programs through our service providers like Canadian Black Chamber of Commerce and similar to that. So next slide, please. BOF intends to catalyze much needed change across several areas impacting Black Canadian communities nationally, coast to coast. I'll just touch briefly on BOF focus areas or called pillars. Our current pillars are health, education, entrepreneurship, arts and culture, education, women and gender, and youth. As I mentioned earlier, Black Opportunity Fund is by the community, for the community. This means that the community have a voice in initiatives that are led by BOF. We are informed by the community, engage with the community on what the needs are. And Black Opportunity Fund as well uses an anti-oppression intersectional lens and participatory decision-making process so that the communities who are most involved and impacted have a say in how we carry out our mandate. I mentioned at the beginning, we are excited, super excited to introduce our 2024 BOF and BCFC grant and B3 capacity building program in partnership with TD Ready Commitment and RBC, and we have as well other philanthropic partners. This grant program, the target is to provide 25 organizations with 20,000 in grants to support programs focused in one of BOF focus areas, which I mentioned earlier, housing, insecurity, arts and culture, women and gender, and so on. The link to apply for the grant is opening next Monday, March 25th at 11:59 a.m. And application deadline will close 4 weeks later, April 24th at 11:59 p.m. We anticipate that the process for adjudication, reviewing of applications, and shortlisting validation will be done by end of May, and with announcements on social media by June 14th. I mentioned earlier the target is 25 grants for 20,000 each. Overall funding envelope is 500,000. Just to emphasize that consultations were held within Black community nationally to agree on the focus areas, and this is also with feedback from the prior grant processes. I've spoken already about that, so this is just bullet points to remind folks about the priority areas: health, education, youth, criminal justice, arts and culture, women and gender, housing and shelter, and food security. Some people might have questions about what does it mean about the focus areas. So we are leaving it open in terms of the actual projects that will be implemented. As an example, systems change, which is wide. During pandemic, people have had to pivot in terms of programming. So we're leaving it broad as systems change. That will be up to you as an organization. What does that mean? That includes also capacity building to increase the capacity to deliver programs, to maybe have innovative ways of delivering programs. Is it virtual and whatever that means. And also emphasizing in cultural focus programming that's applicable to Black communities. Mental health and well-being. Before it was like a specific pillar on itself, but we've seen during the pandemic, it's across all thematic areas. It's a much needed initiative. So that's just a few examples of what organizations can apply to in terms of specific projects within the thematic areas mentioned earlier. So these are the grant requirements, and also if you want to refer the video, the webinar will be recorded and shared to everybody who's participated. The information as well about the grant requirements is posted on several of our social channels, including Black Opportunity Fund website, including the tool that applicants will be using, which is called SMA. If you have any questions during the application process, you can reach out to any of my team members at Black Opportunity Fund. Nia on the back end will drop in the chat. So it will be BOF grants at blackopportunityfund.org. So just to highlight some of the key grant requirements, organizations must be Black-led, Black-serving, Black-focused, as we've indicated, registered Canadian not-for-profits or charity. They must have an existing project in the focus area, or a proposed project for which other potential donors and stakeholders have been identified or secured. Or if there's a strong intent with other stakeholders that this is a project that they're willing to support, those are also welcome to be applied to. We also need active web presence. It doesn't have to be like a very detailed website, but web presence to confirm that organizations actually exist and a way to find you. And you know, even if you have clients, people interested in your organizations, just details on what you do, where to find you, and basic information. We'll use that as well as a way to validate applications for the ones that are selected for funding. The organizations to apply, as I said, this grant program is national. So organizations across Canada are welcome to apply. And we have a pilot program within the grant. And this one, the pilot program itself will prioritize organizations operating in GTA, Halifax, and Windsor. And this is due to the specific requirements of the organizations that are funding this particular piece. However, every organization that applies to the grant will have access to tools and resources, which I'll leave Anika and Nicole speak about when it comes to the section in a few minutes. Next slide, please. So this is just a continuation of the grant requirements. So organizations can't have, say, outstanding tax debt. However, if they do, they can provide a demonstration of on-time payment plan and whatever plan they have with CRA, which can be printed from their account. Organizations cannot have declared bankruptcy. Now it's tips for a successful application. And just to reassure folks that though the application starts on March 25th, you still have time until applications close to complete your application. So you can start your application at, say, the beginning of the grant opening, which is March 25th, and then continue applying until you have everything ready and good to go. However, it has to be before the close date. And my suggestion is to avoid rushing the application the week of grant close, because the system crashes. If you know, 200 people want to submit an application at the same time, the system crashes and it's beyond my control. So it's always good to give yourself a little bit of time before the deadline. So just to provide some key details, you need to provide a budget for the grant, the projects you are intending to implement. And you can also highlight in the application, there's a section about the grant, how your team's experience in running a successful program. And we're looking also for innovative ideas as well, indicate sustainability. Do you have other partners you're working with? Do you have, even if you have volunteers, you know, all those details just help amplify your project. And also, if you in conversation with other stakeholders, even community organizations, please do mention them in the application. At this point, I'll walk you through on how to submit an application through the portal that we use. It's called SMA. It's, to me, I would say it's quite easy to submit an application, but just for the sake of people who are new to it, I'll just walk you through by sharing my screen, and I'll go through the process. So what we use is a tool called SurveyMonkey Plus. Can you see my screen? Okay.
Yes, we can see.
Okay, great. Give me 1 second. So when you log on to SMA, or before you even log on, you find the landing page, which looks similar to this. So on here, if you're a previous applicant, it will ask you for your email and password. If you've forgotten your password, that's still okay. You can just click on forget your password, and it will send you a new link to reset your password. If you don't, it will prompt you here. If you're a new applicant, it will prompt you here on how to create a new account with SMA. So in the process of registering your account, you'll be taken to the application dashboard. So this is assuming you've set up your password, and then you've been allowed into SMA, BOF SMA, to start your applications. Once you go to SMA, you'll find the program, because we've had other grants in the past. So just make sure you're on the right program. So it will direct you to the BOF BCFC grant, and you have tasks to complete. So it will start with eligibility, and just a reminder, when you finish one task, make sure that you hit complete, because it has several tasks that need to be completed before the application is completed and submitted. So there you find one task to complete. So just make sure you complete that, and it will prompt you. If you're eligible, you'll be prompted to go to the next stage. If you're not eligible, then you won't be able to see to go further, to proceed with the application. And for people who are French speaking, want to submit the applications or do the applications in French, there's a button at the top of dashboard. So just click there and it will change the application into French, and you can proceed with your application in French. As well, I know sometimes you have 2 or 3 people working on a single grant in an organization. So if you would like to add collaborators who review or add content to your application during the application process, there is a feature when you go just initially on the dashboard. I've made an arrow there to add collaborator, and you can add whoever you want to assist you with the application. And with that, you can also put permissions. If you want the collaborator just to have access, so just visibility on what you're submitting, you just check off that box. If you want them to view and make edits, you select that. So depending on how you want them to support you during the application. When you're on the eligibility quiz stage, you have ability to edit your responses. I know sometimes you make a selection, and after the fact you realize, oh, it was incorrect. You can still edit by selecting these 3 dots. When you click on these 3 dots, it will give you an option to edit. So it's the same thing. Once you go to the next stage, it will allow you to edit or reset. But this is has to be before the deadline. I know in the past people have emailed me to say, okay, we didn't get to the next stage. Can you allow us to reset the application? Unfortunately, we are not able to do that because there's a process. Once applications close, quickly it moves to adjudication, review, and so on. Once you submit your application, you should get an email that says either if you don't meet the eligibility, or if you've successfully completed the application, you should get an email, auto email. If you don't get an email confirming either of the 2, then I suggest you reach out to us. Probably you didn't hit the complete button, which has happened in the past. So just feel free to reach out to us if you haven't received the email. As well, please check your spam, because sometimes the emails will go to your spam. So this is just kind of going over the importance of making sure that you hit complete button, or if you need to edit some of your general application questions. And if, say, when you go to information about your project title, there's a limit field of 20. And on the other section, I think it's about 200. So if it's giving you an error, just do a count of the word characters that are on the application, just to see if you've exceeded that, or if it's actually a technical issue, which we are happy to assist with. There's a function on how to download a budget. We have a template on the portal. if you wish to use ours. So you, when you get to download budget, you see instructions here on the right side. So when you download that, you save it and populate and upload it again. And this is optional. You can also upload your own template. So you go here to the bottom and attach the format, and there's a format limit. It could be either PDF or Excel, but you should be able to do that and attach it and make sure it's also marked as complete. Once you've finished all your tasks on the application, make sure it's signed with the title, name and title, email, as well as the phone number of the contact person. We need the information to send out notifications for those, even those who are delaying in submitting, actually marking their applications as complete. So we need to reach out to them. As well, if you are a grant recipient, we need to reach out to you. We always go back to the two just to get information. So kindly ensure that the person who's signing is authorized and authorized by you for us to communicate with them. As well, when you complete your tasks, your application, there's a feature to download your actual application once you've completed, or you can do it section by section. If it's the budget, just be sure that you download the information. Because sometimes people don't remember exactly the specifics of the application. So it's always a good idea to download your application for future reference. And we also need you to, if you're successful, to provide interim reports and annual reports of final reports. So those should align with what you said you were going to do in your project. So just a thought for you to do. So this is the button here, submit your application. I've talked about it. And once you submit as well, I mentioned that you receive an acknowledgement. And that's the standard that we've used now to say it will be early June. We don't know the specific date, but it should be within the first 2 weeks of June. Okay, where we at, Nia?
We're now going to have the BCFC team present. So I'm just going to share my screen.
Okay, thank you. Over to you, Anika and Nicole.
Okay. Thanks, Muzunza, and good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here tonight to be part of this information session about this really exciting program. So I'll lead off just to share a bit about the Black Canadian Fundraisers Collective. We are a group of Black identifying people rooted in the historic African tradition of Ubuntu. I am because you are. As the leading advocate and thought collective for Black Canadian philanthropy, BCFC exists to inspire and elevate the fundraising sector. Our collective is extremely excited to be working in partnership with Black Opportunity Fund to bring this pilot initiative to fruition, which in many ways is a culmination of years of conversation between both our groups. We certainly believe there is power in working in partnership, and therefore we are thrilled about the investments secured from TD Ready Commitment, RBC Foundation, BOF, and the Toronto Community Foundation and the United Way of Halifax, who are two of our community partners, funding partners. We are also grateful for the contributions made by our delivery partners, and those include Imagine Canada, Management Advisory Service, and the International Coaching Federation Vancouver Charter Chapter. The focus of the pilot is on building B3 capacity. Why? We know B3s face particular challenges when it comes to funding, where very little trickles down to them from massive philanthropic purses. The result of this is the inability to scale vital and effective interventions that offer the potential to achieve transformative community-level impact. Other challenges faced include lack of people capacity, access to training and learning opportunities, as well as opportunities to collaborate and network in ways that result in the sum and impact of the organizations together is greater than each organization working on their own. So our theory of change, and this might be a term you're quite familiar with, our theory of change, which is simply how part of transitioning from what is the problem to the change we're seeking. Our theory of change posits that by providing a cluster of capacity supports, which Anika will share a bit more about later, B3s will be strengthened and positioned to best serve, invest, and respond to community needs and community-identified solutions and interventions. This program is predicated upon several assumptions that have been informed by a series of consultations and community conversations conducted by Black Opportunity Fund, and also through the knowledge and experience within the membership of our collective, several of whom, through both volunteer and non-volunteer work, are actively engaged with Black and other organizations that have been marginalized, overlooked, and underfunded. So let me share the key assumptions in terms of going into this program and having this program exist. One is that leaders and the emerging leaders of B3 organizations are key decision makers and are therefore well positioned to influence and implement changes within their organizations. 2, funding supports will allow B3s to allocate funding to identified priority areas. 3, access to exclusive training, resources, and customizable tools will build knowledge and competencies in key areas of fundraising and nonprofit management. And 4, coaching support will build the leadership competencies of the program participants. We were guided by some design principles when we created the program. So in creating the program, we have, as I said, we have been guided by these principles. I'll list the principles. First, it's about centering the knowledge of the Black community voices, ensuring that supports provided are driven by community identified needs and solutions. 2, building trust-based relationships, holding mutuality, partnership, and reciprocity between the community and funders and at the center of what we do. And one where both qualitative and quantitative indicators of progress are valid and valued. 3, the necessity for an embedded power in learning together. There is a lot of benefit when organization and people learn together. That's critical for us. 4, accessibility, searchable, interactive, and bilingual. We wanted to make sure that whatever we created would be accessible, searchable, quite interactive, and of course, because the program is national in scope, it will be bilingual. 4, or maybe I lost track of my numbering, I think it's 5, ensure that an Afrocentric lens would be applied across the program components, which, as I said, Anika will share with you in a few moments. 6, a collaborative and partnership model would be used for the program delivery. And 7, we wanted to make sure there's an importance in securing additional investments from some of the community-based organizations. As I mentioned earlier, we have the Toronto Foundation and the United Way of Halifax as our community partners. So what are the program outcomes? Well, for one, we want to make sure B3s will receive an injection of funding at sufficient level to have real impact. 2, B3s, through the training and access to specifically curated resources and tools, are better equipped to handle the complexities associated with the work you do. 3, connecting and creating synergies between both the participants and their organizations. That's really key. Groups of people learning together. There are some specific synergies and opportunities we hope will arise out of that proximity and connection. 4, the coaching support from Black coaches. Participants would have the opportunity to grow and develop their leadership competencies focused on the areas that actually they identify as their priorities. So for each participant, for each organization, they will determine how the coaching component of the program will be able to support their leadership and their growth. And 5, the program will serve as a feedback loop to capture learning, inform and improve what we hope potentially will be future iterations of the program. Anika, over to you.
Thanks, Nicole. So on your screen right now are the 5 components of the BOF BCFC B3 Capacity Development Program. And I just want to walk through them with you in the next couple of minutes. So the first 2 elements are the first two petals of this flower, 1 and 2, operate together. And those 2 actually live on the BCFC website. And you can access them now. This is the resource that Muzunza was referring to in her part of the presentation, and it is one of the offerings that we have made available to everyone. So I'm not sure if I'm going to share the link in the chat, so I'm not sure if the BOF team can get that out to the participants so they know where to go on the website. These resources were primarily sourced through Imagine Canada and Management Advisory Services, who are 2 of our partners, as well as Black leaders within our collective who provided an Afrocentric lens to the materials, making them more relevant for B3 organizations. All of these resources are available both in English and in French, as is the entire program that we've designed and are implementing. The third element is exclusive training activities. And this element of the program has been designed by the Agency Inc. team, led by our brother Medea Karuzi, who's a collective member. And this learning experience is especially designed to support B3 organizations as an educational guide to better resource generation. The learning approach Medea's team used to develop this training is called dialogue education, which is the idea that adult learners are best able to grapple with concepts and lead their learning process by connecting with themselves, connecting with others, and connecting with the presented content. As such, this curriculum is focused on encouraging dialogue and using tools so that learners can become familiar with fundraising as they practice how to deploy fundraising resources, as well as share ideas and experiences with participants. The course includes 8 modules designed to be completed over 8 months in a virtual asynchronous learning platform. The networking hub portion or petal here on the diagram refers to 8 workshops with industry leaders looking at critical areas of nonprofit management. These areas include sessions on strategy and planning, leadership, governance, marketing and communications, finance and risk, volunteer management, and human resources. Additionally, through our partnership with Imagine Canada, we are offering all participants free access to Grant Connect for 1 year. The fifth component of the program is coaching. And this is delivered, as Nicole mentioned, through our partnership with International Coaching Federation, the Vancouver chapter. And we have developed a Black Coaches Collective to support this portion of the program. Our Black coaches, who you can actually see on our website at the link that I shared, you can see who all of the coaches are now. Their bios are also there. They will be providing 6 hours of coaching support to each B3 organization. These coaching relationships are designed to provide an opportunity for B3 leaders to reveal solutions to organizational challenges and transform their organizations through emerging insights. We believe that this component of the program will have a lasting effect on Black leaders and their organizations through the thought partnership offered by the Black coaches. Combined, we believe these 5 elements will support Black leaders and grow B3 organizational capacity. We're excited to begin the program we're excited to begin the program the week of July 2nd. Ms. Inza?
Thank you, Anika and Nicole. I'm sure that was very informative to the people on the call. At this point, I would like us to move to the next part of the webinar, which is the Q&A. This will be led by Craig, Donna, and Anika and Nicole to answer questions. Thank you. I've seen some questions in the chat. Nia, on the back end, can you just help out here?
Would it be helpful? Would it be helpful to you, Zinza, if maybe I went through and read a couple of them? There are some that fall into categories.
Yes.
Okay.
For sure. Thank you, Donna.
Okay, so why don't we do that and we can answer some of these live. Somebody asked there if it's possible to see a preview of the application so that they can have the questions in front of them before actually going online.
We can put that in the FAQ. However, when you log on to SMA and start the application, you can see the questions there and download. Work on those and then finish your application.
Okay, thank you. And do you have to be a not-for-profit organization in order to apply? I think that we went through the eligibility criteria, which is quite clear that you have to be a not-for-profit or a charity. Both a registered not-for-profit or a registered charity in order to apply. There are a couple of questions about whether entrepreneurship is a pillar of BOF. It was listed as a pillar. It is absolutely a pillar of BOF. And so the answer is yes. I suspect that what you may be asking, or the questions may be targeted on whether or not you're eligible to apply for this grant. And so, Muzunza, I'll leave that to you. I mean, I think the answer is that let me leave the response. Craig? Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the question about the entrepreneurship, and the answer is yes. If your organization is a B3, meaning Black-led, Black-serving, Black-focused, not-for-profit or charity, whose focus is on supporting Black entrepreneurs, then yes, you would qualify. If you are a for-profit business, i.e. an entrepreneur, then you would not qualify. So just to be specific, this program is for B3s, Black-led, Black-focused, Black-serving, not-for-profits and charities. So Black Opportunity Fund has other programs that are focused on supporting Black entrepreneurs. I encourage you to check out our website, check out our social media. There's lots of information about the ongoing programs there.
Thank you. Somebody asked, where's the link to apply? And the link isn't open yet. Applications open on the 25th, and the link will be on our website. Will people be able to get the link anywhere else?
I've dropped the link in the chat as well. However, applications are opening next Monday, the 25th.
Right. Thank
Okay.
you. Somebody's asked to provide clear examples of system change initiatives. I think that we tend not to provide specific examples because we don't want to lock people into a definition. What we're really looking for in the application is for the applicant to describe to us how they are influencing or creating system change and how their initiative is impacting that. But to the extent that we would like to provide an example, does anybody want to provide a clear example, or am I right that we try to leave it as broad as possible and let the applicants define?
Yeah, I would agree with that, Donna. One of the challenges that we found in our community consultations, and Donna was it has been involved in the the initial ones even before I came on board. The organization was started. One of the challenges for grant programs is that for many grant programs, including government, including philanthropic grant programs, is they don't fund existing projects, many of them. So what tends to happen is projects, the grant programs give you this very prescriptive outline, and what happens is community organizations, any Black community organizations, tend to try to fit their projects within that bucket to create new projects, get funding. And that is just an endless cycle that creates a significant amount of problems in terms of sustainability. So we do fund existing projects and initiatives. We fund programs that you are doing. So what we're asking you to tell us about the programs that you are already working on, rather than us giving you a prescriptive outline of something that you then try to shoebox in just to get money, which may be stretching your mandate.
And just to elaborate on that a little bit, I mean, we began this by understanding that so many of the things that are needed already exist in the community, that the community has the answers to the challenges that the community is facing. And so we're really focused on amplifying those efforts and creating scale and sustainability for those. There are a couple of questions that I want to sort of group under eligibility criteria. What determines eligibility? If I'm in year one, can I still apply because there's a requirement for 2 years worth of financial statements? The eligibility criteria is clear. Once you go in, and Muzinza referred to the fact that we will need to contact you if you are selected as a successful applicant. And one of the things that we do is confirm some of that stuff that you have attested to or affirmed in your application. So B3, how do we know that you are, a B3 organization? We'll ask for that. And I think that, Craig, you've already answered the question about if you don't have a running project. Are you still eligible? We are focused on funding projects that are already sort of up and running and need to be amplified and scaled. Muzinza, do you want to provide any additional detail on what documents will determine eligibility? Maybe when we are at the stage, when we are at the stage of confirming information after someone has been successful.
Exactly. At the end, we do validation just to confirm you're actually registered. If we can't find the information on either of the websites that we use, for example, CRA, we'll need to have that by asking organizations to provide a copy of their registration. So that is a requirement.
Can I jump in just to jump into a couple that I saw? One of them that I tried to answer in the chat, which is we get all the time. It's the question regarding a web presence. So we get that reaction quite a bit where people say, "Well, it's a website, takes a lot of money to." We say a web presence. So social media counts. I remember our first grant program that we done was actually funded by Facebook. So and the reason for that. And again, coming out of the pandemic, one of the things that we said is if you are an organization, our focus is to help you build your capacity. Our focus is to amplify your work to get you funding and also open the door for you to get other funding. If you don't have any kind of web presence, how do people find you to give you money? How do people find you to collaborate? So baseline web presence on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook does, with your basic contact information. How do we get in contact with you? What is your mission and mandate? Who are your leaders? We also use that as part of our verification process. So we do due diligence. We have other criteria. Is your business Black-led? Is it Black focused? Is it Black purpose? That's a shortcut to help us to do our due diligence as well. And again, we amplify the people the organizations who we fund. We promote them because we want you to get more money. We want you to get more funding. So help us to help you.
Thank you. Just very quickly, yes, organizations outside of Toronto and Halifax can apply and are encouraged to apply. We are across Canada, so East, West, Central, Francophone. Please, yes, everyone can apply. There are a couple of questions that are around financial statements. New organization, don't have 2 years, don't have audited financial statements, have only been in operation for 6 months. I think some of those are answered by saying, look, you have to have an ongoing program. But Muzinza, can you speak to what if they don't have the 2 years?
Thank you, Donna. So we understand sometimes the fiscal year end is different from others. However, if you've been operating for, say, 6 months, you should have some way of record keeping. How do you do your monthly basic financial statements? So that's what we need. We don't need to have an audited statement. However, we do need confirmation that should you get funded, you'll be able to manage those funds. Debit and credit and basic accounting is what we require. So kindly provide as best as you can. And as I said, we have the contact information. If we do need additional information, we always reach out to you.
Okay. Donna, I want to jump in and answer another one, and that's the question
Please.
about, I guess, the intermediary agreement.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't meet the criteria, can I partner with another organization? Our criteria is the lead applicant has to be a B3, Black-led, Black serving, Black focused. So if you're partnering with another organization, ensure that the organization who is applying is Black-led, Black serving, Black focused.
As we have definitely had that situation in the past where the where the grassroots organization is a B3, but the organization that is actually making the application is not. So thank you for that clarification. I'm looking to see what sort of bucket we have not answered yet. Someone asked a question about the about whether or not sessions will be held in the evening, sort of after 6, sort of the timing of those and the commitment. Okay.
Yes, so as I mentioned, the program is virtual and it's asynchronous. So the bulk of the learning is self-led. We give you a month to complete a module, and the workshops, the majority of those they are live, virtual. However, they will be recorded. And so if people are unable to attend those workshops, those recordings will be available on the learning platform for them afterwards. At the beginning of the program, all participants will have a schedule of dates that we will ask them to hold in their calendar for those workshops. And so the workshops are not scheduled in the evening. They're actually scheduled in and around the 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time zone to just make it a nice time range for everybody across the country.
Thank
In and
you.
around, not exactly 11, in and around there though, not in the night.
All right, and related to that, are the 35 hours mandatory?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm just looking to see what we have not answered yet. I'm tempted to read the ones that are saying this is wonderful. So thank you so much. We think so too, but I will focus instead. If we're not successful, how do we get access to Grant Connect and other parts of the program? So is it possible for organizations who are not successful this time around to access some of the resources that we are providing for capacity building?
So the first two petals of the flower flower image that I showed you, the online resources, customizable tools, those are open source. They're live right now. You can access them right now on the Black Canadian Fundraisers.ca website. And so that is the component, those are the components of the program that are available to everybody.
Question there, and thank you for that, Anika. Are we going to be doing some kind of an information session where we kind of walk through that at some point?
There will be an orientation for the selected participants, yes.
Okay, but in terms of the open source, is that something?
Oh, no.
Okay, but it is up
open.
and it's available. Yeah,
It's up, it's open, it's available. People
Beautiful.
can use it now. They can use it.
Yeah.
They can use it now. We encourage you to use it now.
Yeah, it is incredible resources. And again, just from our work with the capacity building we've done and supporting entrepreneurs who we've provided funding, this is gold, because Black-led not-for-profits and charities and so on, as Rustam Southwell, one of our board members, says all the time, money is the problem, but the problem is not money. It really is that there's just a wealth of resources and knowledge that has gone into the repository of information that is now available free, English and French, that is culturally specific, that has been put together by Anika, Nicole, and their team of Black fundraising professionals, grant professionals. I really encourage everybody to go in and dig around. There's just an amazing amount of resources there that are incredible.
Which will help you with other grants and programs, not just Black Opportunity Fund. And that link was posted in the chat, so please go there. And, you know, talking about the resources that are provided there, I love us. I love our community, because Bless Brooks has put in the chat, we can help with web presence. If you need help, just reach out. And so thank you, Bless Brooks, and just go into the Q&A and you will see an email address for her. Thank you so much. Do we need to be registered with CRA? Will territorial registration suffice? And I am going to interpret that as, do we need to be a registered charity? The answer is no. You can be a not-for-profit, but you do have to be registered as a not-for-profit. If that wasn't exactly the question, please feel free. There is an email address that is also in the chat that you can ask questions of the team afterwards as well. All right. I am mindful. I'm mindful of the time, because I think we are actually over time right now. We're just gone beyond. Please check the chat. Please contact the team if you have more questions. There's a Q&A that will be provided as well. Reminder that applications don't open until the 25th. The application is not, the portal doesn't open until the 25th. And I'm going to turn it back over to you, Muzunza, since we're now over time to wrap up.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Craig, Anika, for answering those key questions. They're important. They'll help applicants during the application process. As we conclude, I would just like to encourage everybody that's on the call to please submit your applications. We're looking forward to those applications and how we can support you, and also take time to go to BCFC on their tools, and they'll help you a lot even during the application process itself. And do share even among your networks about this opportunity. And as a Black Opportunity Fund, we're committed to supporting you. If you have any questions, do reach out to us. Thank you again for taking the time. And I'll end by saying we back Black. Thank you all.
Interesting questions.